Dun, dun, dun. What's up, guys? Sean here, co-host of Digital Genius Radio alongside of Chris Baden, the idea guy. But today's episode is all about being intentional with your time, being direct to the point. We have one of our other super geniuses, Mary Cotter, is going to come out and share a little bit more about how to be intentional. Welcome to Digital Genius Radio, the #1 podcast focused on guiding you to becoming a certified digital genius. We believe you can have it all by mastering social media paid advertising. We spent the last 3 years studying the most brilliant marketers today and applying their techniques. We've broken free of the 9-to-5 and successfully built a 7-figure online certification platform. From working with hundreds of clients, we found that most are overwhelmed or scared to actually dive into paid advertising. And this podcast is here to give you the cheat codes so you can flourish with your social media channels. Join us and follow along as we continue to learn, apply, and share proven strategies, as well as give you the insights on how to win online with social media paid advertising. And now, here's your hosts, Chris Baden and Sean Malone. We are going to go now to our feature speaker of the evening. I'm so excited this young lady is back. She just hit another big rank in her organization. Congratulations. Mary Cotter's in the house, and she's going to come out and talk a little bit about being intentional with your time. Mary, what's up?
Hey. All right. Well, I'm going to start my timer so I can get this all to you guys really quick. I have a ton of tips that I want to give you and some app recommendations. And I'll also send a little, all of the head or the main points. I'll send a note in the chat afterwards so you guys, if you guys miss any of them. So I'm setting my timer here. All right. So basically, I'm talking all about being intentional with your time. If you guys ever feel like your time just slips away from you, comment yes in the chat, because I know for me, I feel like I just need more time all the time, right? So I feel like, everyone has this problem. Time is so precious, right? And if we aren't intentional with it, it just slips right out from under us. You don't even realize it, and you blink and a year's gone by. So I have been really focusing on trying to be more intentional just with everything I do. And so I've been doing a lot of research and trying out different apps and just really trying to focus on this this year. So I feel like my kind of word for the year is intentional, is being intentional. So the first one I want to talk about is, multiple people have talked about this the past, few months. I know this has been brought up, is tracking your time. So if you have not done this, try tracking your time at least for one day. Look and do a time study on yourself. There's different ways you can do it. You can just take simple piece of paper and every 15 minutes, write down what you did the previous 15 minutes. Set an alarm on your phone, and so that you can remember to just, write down what you do. Some of the different categories of things that you could track are, obviously how much you sleep, how much time do you spend on personal development, how much time do you work on strategy level type work versus tactical level work, how much do you connect with family and friends, how much do you spend on home duties like cooking or cleaning, how much time do you spend on media, entertainment type things. So just make categories, whatever is going to work for you. Another app that also does this, if you don't want to use a spreadsheet or paper, Toggl, Toggl. I'll put it in the notes afterwards, but that's kind of a app version of it, which I used. And then I like to think, before you even do this, go and write down how much time you would like to ideally spend on these categories. Your ideal of how much time you would like to spend. And then when you're done doing your time study, compare. And if you are not even close to where you want to be, start making action steps to get closer to that and see where you can spend less time on certain things and to be able to get your time back to where you ideally would like to have it. So that's number 1, is tracking your time. Number 2 is planning and prioritization. So having differences between your brain dump list, your weekly to-do list, your daily to-do list, being, prioritizing things to make sure you're spending time on things that are moving the needle in your business, things that are, important to your goals, and not overwhelming yourself with thinking you need to do everything on your if you have a to-do list that's a mile long and you expect yourself to do that every week, you're just going to overwhelm yourself. So just being intentional with how you're planning out your to-do lists for your week, for your day, that's another thing. Next thing that kind of similar has to do with doing similar to this is being intentional with your expectations. So I like the big three, if you guys have ever heard of that. So like having a big three with your week, like if you get nothing else done for that week, what are 3 things that you want to get done? And then same thing each night, what are 3 things you want to get done tomorrow? So just being realistic with what you think and you can actually expect yourself to do the next day. Because I know I tend to expect way too much of myself if I think I'm going to get a million things done that week and then just feel disappointed at the end of the week. So being intentional with your expectations. Next one is being intentional with your decisions. So think before you act. I'm an impulsive person. I don't know if anyone else is out there, but I tend to be impulsive. So thinking before you act, making sure that you're making your decisions out of fear, or not out of fear, but out of love. So, think before, when you're about to make a decision, think about where it's coming from. And if it's getting you closer to your goals. So if you're spending time on things that aren't getting you closer to your goals, you might want to rethink that, right? The next thing is intentionally focusing your attention. This is probably one of my favorite ones, is multitasking is like the worst thing that any of us could do, right? Having our attention spread into different things. So single tasking is like where it's at, and using like the Pomodoro method is amazing. So focusing your time for a set amount of time and not being distracted on anything else, putting the phone away and just focusing on one task. And then after that, giving yourself a break. So there's this stat I've heard that like 53 minutes is the most productive time for especially entrepreneurs. But whatever time you're able to sit down and really focus on one task and, commit to yourself, be like, I am not straying away from this. I'm not getting up to go throw in a load of laundry. I'm not checking my notifications on my phone, just being focused on that. And then when you do give yourself a break, obviously get up and stretch and go to the bathroom, whatever. So I love using the timer method, Pomodoro method. It makes me so much more productive, like all the time. I know I feel the difference in myself when I do that versus the days that I don't. Next one, app recommendation for that one. Be focused. There's tons of different Pomodoro timer things out there. So that's just one that I like. It's on my computer and my phone. Next one is intentional phone use. So I suggest turning off all your all of your notifications for everything, so that you choose when you're spending your time on your phone and not feeling like your phone is saying, hey, look at me. I have a notification from Facebook. I have a notification from this. Like your phone is just constantly, wanting your attention, right? So if you turn off all of your notifications, you're deciding when you're spending time on it, and you're deciding when you're spending time on different apps. And you can even do this for your text messages. Like I put all of my text messages on do not disturb, so that when I'm not getting those bing, the ding ding ding. So you can put each of your specific text messages. So like my husband, of course, I don't have his on do not disturb mode. So there's certain people obviously you want to do that for. But another thing with that is you can use the screen time app on your phone to see how much time you're spending on different things, because it can be very eye-opening when you do that, and it helps you realize how much time you're actually spending on your phone. There's some stat out there that we spend obviously as internet marketers, we spend a lot more time on our phone, but it's for work. But just to see where you're spending your time, which apps is it going to, and to think about if you want to set up limits, you can do that on your phone. You can set up different limits for which apps you, maybe want to spend less time on, so you're just more intentional about it and more aware of it. Another one, most phones have some type of screen time app on it, but another one is called Moment. That one also tells you how many times you pick up your phone, which is kind of scary sometimes. The next one is intentionally making and breaking habits. So an app recommendation for you guys is Habit Buddy. I really like this one. So just being intentional about which habits you're wanting to make, which habits you're wanting to break, and working on it every single day. This app does a really good job that you can just check off things throughout the day. And so, yeah, I really love that app. And that will help you, obviously get closer to your goals. The next one, last one, I got 2 minutes left, is intentional reflections. So at the end of each day, at the end of each week, it's really important to just reflect what has been working for you and what hasn't been working for you. We talk about, talking about our wins at the end of each day, but it's also important to, note down what isn't working. So if you, at the end of your day, think about, I'm just feeling stressed about this because I spent too much time, mindlessly scrolling through social media. I didn't get this done today. I didn't do that. If there's things that you're not feeling like you got done, write it down, because maybe it's becoming a trend. And then if you're not actually reflecting on things, you might forget and you might not actually realize that it's a trend. So I have this app called Grid Diary Classic. And you can customize the different journal prompts. And so I have what am I grateful for? What would make today awesome? What are my wins for the day? What didn't go well today? What do I want to work on tomorrow? So I think you can have 8 different journal prompts. And so then at the end of the week, I'm able to easily see what are the things that have been, that are becoming a trend. And so that I'm able to, basically get ahead of what I'm wanting to change versus just letting it kind of go on for way too long, right? So I have the apps that I have my main points here. I'm just going to pop it in the chat for those main points that I went over and the app recommendations that I had for you guys. So I will send that in here. All right. So yeah, the bullet points look really weird, but hope that was helpful for you. And I'm just right about at my time. So I hope you guys all just try to be a little bit more intentional with your time, because time is what we all want more of, right? And we just don't want it to be wasted and slip through our fingers. So I hope you guys each day just go a little bit closer to using your time ideally how you'd like it. So.
Thanks for listening to Digital Genius Radio. We'd love it if you could share our podcast with 3 others that you think could get some value from it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, and remember, hit that notifications button so we can alert you for each new episode that comes out. You're on your way. You've gained knowledge and you've gotten smarter. You're becoming a certified digital genius. To continue on the right path, go to challenge.digitalgeniusradio.com and prove you have what it takes. Again, that's challenge.digitalgeniusradio.com. Enter your name and email and get started becoming a master of your own destiny.